welcome to today's Los Blancos podcast. Today we'll be discussing El Clasico and the review of the game that happened yesterday, in which we lost the final 3-2 in extra time, which was a highly competitive game, one in which I feel like we could and we should have won, actually. And in the end, it feels like a pile of bricks just dropped on our heads again, but in a different way, right? Because we don't get this feeling of getting just dumped on in the last few minutes very often. But what we saw from Barcelona was a performance in which first half they dominated, then we came back, and Barcelona did what we usually do to teams, which is we let them have the goal, we let them take the lead, and then in the end we go and just put all the pressure on, and then eventually we score and then we hold on. That's what Barcelona did, and unfortunately we were obviously on the other end of that, and it was a tough game because going into it, if you listen to the preview podcast, even if you didn't, I tweeted it quite a lot saying that I had zero faith in this Real Madrid team to win this game. Out of 100 occasions, if we played this Copa del Rey final, I think we win 0 times. And obviously we didn't win, but I'm actually quite proud of them. I'm quite proud of them because they put in a fight, they put in a performance in which I can probably say this was our best performance this season, in my opinion. This is better than Man City games because of the opposition you're against and because of the magnitude of the tie. You just have to put your hands up and say it just wasn't your night. It wasn't your night in the end, and that can happen. That can happen, unfortunately, even for Real Madrid. And I said this before the game. I said on how when Real Madrid lose, it's usually a huge thing. You know, it's ridiculous. Real Madrid don't lose like any other club. If they lose, it's a complete catastrophe. It's a destroy. It's just complete crashing and burning. This game, it wasn't. It was just one of those games where it just didn't go your way. You had their chances, but it just wasn't to be your night. And unfortunately, in the end, we come out on the wrong side of the result. I want to talk about some of the players and some of the performances because at the end of the day, there was plenty of positives to look upon after this game. Ones in which you can take into, well, not this season, but you can take into next season when we've got a new manager. I'm going to start with Jude Bellingham and Federico Valverde because they were both absolutely sensational in my eyes. In a game in which Pedri immediately, scored first, drew first blood. Everyone got on Pedri's dick after that. Jude Bellingham was absolutely ridiculous, and I thought he was the best player on the pitch. He was incredible. That was one of the best games I've seen from Jude Bellingham in his Real Madrid career, maybe if not the best. And it's crazy because he ends up on the losing side in one of his best performances ever. That's horrible. But his work rate was absolutely first class, non-stop, just getting up and down, and the way he made some of those passes, he absolutely dictated play. He was absolutely everywhere and doing everything for Real Madrid, and I'm totally just lost for words about how we couldn't keep it going, unfortunately, for Jude Bellingham. Yeah, I'm so sad for him, but at the end of the day, that's that. Fede also fantastic, up and down. Some of those plays, there was two in particular. I believe one was in extra time and one was in the end of regulation, in which Fede it was basically a 2-on-3, and Ferran Torres or somebody had a clean pass through to the back post. And I was just thinking every single time that went in, if Lucas Vazquez was there instead of Federico Valverde, and I don't want to dump on Lucas Vazquez because he was actually alright, but if Lucas Vazquez was there, then that would have been a goal. And so Fede's just his tracking is so much better, and it was such a lifesaver in this game. He was magnificent, and I think the praise can't go enough to Federico Valverde, who's had a very good season, has kept fighting, kept working, has run himself into the ground for us this season, including alongside Jude Bellingham. both of them were absolute sensation, and I do want to also say thank you to Tchouaméni. He was fantastic as well. I thought he was remarkable. He was really, the one thing what Real Madrid has over Barcelona, you'd say, in terms of an advantage, it should be the physicality in that midfield. That midfield should be able to just bully Barcelona in the midfield. And in the two previous El Clásicos, that wasn't the case. We got bullied and we were chasing shadows. But this one, especially in that second half, Tchouaméni really stepped it up. Was just imperious, always nipping in, and that's the Tchouaméni I want. That's the guy who we signed and we were so excited about. Is the fact that we sometimes forget how good Tchouaméni can be because of the fact that he can put in stinkers as well. But when he plays a performance like this, where he's just so active, when he's so strong in the tackle, when he's so imperious, it's good to see. And hopefully he can keep the consistency, because he has been consistent. Since the Supercopa defeat, he has been pretty good, pretty consistent, and playing good performances. We just need it to keep going, and hopefully the next manager can build around it. I think give it to Mbappe as well. I thought Mbappe was good when he come off the bench, especially in mind that he's 60%. He's not 100% of the way ready for this game, and so I'm happy for Kylian. He definitely gave it a lot, and especially with that free kick, incredible. I mean, really good ingenuity to come up with that, especially when we were missing chances. To make the most of a free kick is very, very good from Kylian Mbappe, and I'm very, very happy that he got his goal. But it wasn't meant to be again, and unfortunately that it was all for nothing in the end. Arda, this was the performance I feel like which Arda finally gives, makes his print on the first team, makes his impact known on the first team. There's plenty of games where I'm looking at Arda and I'm saying really good performance Arda, but it's just not great, right? It's not in the circumstances you'd want. But this one, and in a final against Barcelona, coming on in the 54th minute, and putting in that type of performance. Listen, I think it's very, very, very good. I think let's hope that this is the start of something big for Arda Güler, because I think he was absolutely fantastic. He was a crucial part of us breaking through Barcelona and watch the suffocating press that we'd fallen under in the previous two El Clásicos. Arda and Modric both helped us get out of that with pretty much ease, and it is so good to see that Arda can help us with that, because that's something we've struggled with all season long. So if we look at Arda Güler and we put him into that position, Ancelotti said after the Getafe game, we're looking at playing Arda further back, a little bit deeper. After seeing this performance, I definitely see it. He is a very, very good player at getting out of the pressure and picking his passes. We previously looked at him as a Mesut Ozil type, but he's definitely got the passing ability, the technical ability to dictate things from a little bit deeper. And we saw Pedri on the opposite side of the pitch. Pedri, when he was younger, he was obviously a 10. Now he's dropped a little bit deeper and dictating things. Maybe Arda can do something similar, and maybe we can call on Arda to do something similar. We'll see how the next manager uses him. Most likely Xabi Alonso. We'll see whether he uses him as a 10 or as an extra 8. But let's see. I think also another big thing I think to take away from this game is the four-man midfield is the way to go for the future. We played much better without Rodrigo in this team, and I don't want to pick on Rodrigo, but it just wasn't good enough. And if you're playing with Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior, you cannot be a passenger, because the other two will be passengers. So you cannot be the passenger, and I just think I cannot think of a single occasion in which Rodrigo actually impacted the game. I cannot think of a single time in which Rodrigo even touched the ball. So, I mean, it's just like it's really damning. I think for Rodrigo, like I said, I'm not going to make a decision on Rodrigo's future, because at the end of the day, we've only seen him under one manager. Obviously, we had him for a couple of years underneath Zidane, but that wasn't really Rodrigo at that time. I want to see him one season under a different manager to make a verdict on Rodrigo, but it's not good for him seeing that what an impact Arda made when he came off the bench. And we've got one El Clasico left. I would love to see what would happen if we played Arda from the beginning. Played with a four-man midfield with Arda in it instead of Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo's performances in the last few months, I thought he started the season off really, really damn well, but these last few months have just been unacceptable from Rodrigo, and I think he knows that, but I also think he doesn't know that because he keeps posting on Twitter, so who knows. What else should we talk about? Vinicius Junior. Listen, it's not been a good season for Vinny. Probably one of his worst actually at Real Madrid. He knows this and that. That Ballon d'Or has definitely got to his head. He hasn't been the same player since. Somebody needs to tell him to take a step back. I mean, take a step back and try and work your way back in. But it's not looking good for Vinicius Junior right now. I think he does need a break. He needs a little break and just to reset the mind and start again, because the atmosphere in Spain isn't going away anytime soon. So he just needs to take a break to reset himself, get the fresh mind, and go again in a couple months' time. So that's what from now to the end of the season's for. Technically, we're still fighting for a La Liga title, but not really. So apart from that, I mean, what else we got to add? I thought Courtois' mistakes. It's just like, I'm not going to go on Courtois because at the end of the day, he's won us so many trophies. So the fact is that he's cost us one here. With the fact that all three of the goals, I think Courtois could have done better, especially the second one, obviously. But I'm not gonna pile on Courtois because at the end of the day, he's won us so many trophies, including 2 Champions League titles, which it's unforeseen, right? So I'm not gonna. He knows what he did wrong. Courtois is probably his biggest critic. Like he's cost us a title here, but that's fine. That he will know that. And the same goes for Brahim Diaz, because I look at Brahim Diaz and I say he's not a guy who's gonna. He's good. He's not a guy who's. How do I say this? He will know what it means. He will know what it means to the fans. The fact that he made that mistake at the end. I think it's a bit of him and Modric. Modric's pass was a bit poor in that instance, and obviously the shot is just a freak shot at the end of the day, and it goes in. But he knows what he has to do. It just wasn't a great cameo off the bench, and yeah, I mean, it just wasn't good enough from Brahim Diaz. He will definitely know what it feels to the fans. He is a fan, so he's definitely gonna know. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on Brahim Diaz. Fran Garcia against Lamine Yamal, it looked ropey at the start, but I thought Fran really did adapt to the game pretty well. Second half, Lamine Yamal didn't really have too many opportunities on Fran Garcia, so I thought Fran Garcia actually did quite a good job, better than what Ferland Mendy did the other 2 times this season. So in the next El Clasico, I would 100% consider playing Fran Garcia and seeing if he can face that challenge once again. To decide whether he is here for the foreseeable future of Real Madrid, or you sell him to Bournemouth or whatever. So I would definitely look into that for the next game. What else have I got to add? I think Rudiger. I think the discipline, I think, has been really bad this season. There is something going on with Antonio Rudiger, because at the end of the day, this red card was just a culmination of what's been happening. He's been playing like an absolute madman recently, and in some instances, I love it. I can applaud it. I will love it in some instances, but in some other instances, I think, what the hell are you doing? It's gonna cost us a game one day, and it didn't cost us this game. That wasn't the reason we lost, but his discipline issues are going to be a big problem, and he's going to get suspended for the next 4 to 12 games, I saw, which is crazy. 12 games is kind of crazy, but it's also kind of fair if you think about it, because you threw something at a referee like that. That's gonna always get you a horrible ban. So it makes sense. His discipline issues have been really bad this season, and it hasn't really been this bad ever, really, if you think about it. Like, we always looked at Rudiger as a bit of a psycho, but not to this level, I don't think. And this is on Pepe territory right now, and I just don't know if we can do it. But I think he needs to take some time off, get himself healed up, because he was limping towards the end of the game. Get himself healed up for the Club World Cup in June. From now to the end of the season, I think just let him take the season off. Asensio and Alaba can finish out the season, probably. I'm gonna hope so anyway. I think he just needs to take some time off, because it's clearly going to his head. Apart from that, I mean, Asensio was okay. That last challenge, I mean, that was a great dive by Rafinha, because it really did sell me. I really did think it was a foul when I first saw it. When I saw the replay, actually, it was not. It was a very obvious dive. But I think it's unfortunate. He actually played a pretty good game apart from that. I thought, really good slide tackles as usual. And he continues to be a bright spot in our season. So apart from that, I just want to finish up by saying I'm extremely proud of them. We lost, but it wasn't an embarrassing fashion. We lost the game in which I think if we had won, I think everyone would have been celebrating. It's a befitting way to end this horrible season, really, isn't it? I mean, it is a befitting way to end the season, but what can you do? So it does look like Real Madrid are going to go without a trophy this season, without a meaningful trophy. I don't really give a fuck about the Intercontinental Cup and the UEFA Super Cup, but it does look like we're going to go for trophyless. We've got 5 games left in La Liga, including one El Clasico. Let's see if we can win that one. This game's definitely given me a lot more hope. And I just do want to say, I mean, in terms of Inter, I hope they look at this game and they say, okay, that's exactly what we have to do to beat Barcelona. If that's anything to take away from this game, I hope that's something they take away is this is what we have to do to beat Barcelona. We've given them the blueprint, and they can definitely defend better than us, and they can probably counter-attack better than us with a more prolific nature. So hopefully Inter can do something for us. Apart from that, extremely proud of them. They gave it their all. They left out all of that out on that pitch, but it just wasn't meant to be, and that can happen in football sometimes, even to Real Madrid. So that's it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. A little bit of a therapy session, not too long, 90 minutes. But I'm not sure next time we'll be back. I've got quite a busy schedule right now, but for sure we'll be covering that El Clasico in 2 weeks' time, and we might do a Celta Vigo review, maybe, if it's interesting enough. But apart from that, that's it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.